Hello everyone and welcome to a commentated walkthrough for Aperture Tag. Without much talking, let's just get right in. I'll leave an annotation at the top. If you want to skip the intro, you can click that and it will skip you to the end of the intro and the start of the first stage. The first stage is going to be a tutorial. I'll leave another annotation after that if you want to skip the tutorial as well.
Hello, and welcome to the Paint Gun Testing Initiative. You have been in hibernation for 99999. That doesn't seem right. Well, it doesn't really matter. Please leave the restroom whenever you are ready. I know that bed might look comfy, but we've got much to do, so please exit your room. You know,
The first part of
I
this
don't
game
even
is
know
a
why they even
tutorial.
bother
If
giving
you want
a
to,
bed.
there's an
They
annotation
will
at the
drag
top
the
and you
test
can use it to
subjects into the
skip
stasis
the
chambers
tutorial.
anyways. After long periods of hibernation, the human body loses some of its strength. So, before we get to the paint, testing hasn't officially begun yet, so we're free to talk without anyone listening in on us. But your profile says you're not an early bird, so I understand if you don't want to talk at the moment.
Basically, the first part of the tutorial is just to get you back in the business of how Portal 2 mechanics work, but it won't actually use portals yet. They're actually a very minor part of this game. So for now, just very basic stuff.
I was just informed that even if we are not testing yet, I am not allowed to mention anything that is mentioned in your profile.
Put me down.
This is the first actual chamber of this game, and it's actually really simple, as the first chamber should be. It's basically designed to make you look at the gun in the middle of the room, and then eventually pick it up.
Yes, I know this experiment will go without any problems. I can see it in you. Pick up the device and let the vacuum delivery system take us to the first test involving paint. Okay, I know you're wondering what you are holding. Don't worry, it'll all make sense as we progress. Let me see. There.
From now on,
just
puzzles
go
will be
through the door
using
now.
the
Alright?
actual
Why don't you try
element of
firing
this
your
game,
gun?
which gives
See what
this game
happens.
its name. The ability
You
to
solved that really
spray
fast.
around
Now, this
sort of
next chamber
gel.
should offer more of a challenge
There's
for
blue
us.
gel, which makes you bounce, and red gel, which makes you run faster, which are both known from Portal 2. And they're sort of like reintroduced in this first few chambers to make sure that you
Well,
understand
very
everything
good.
that's going
Nice.
on and
Okay,
haven't forgotten
maybe
anything.
it's time to introduce myself. I'm Nigel, and I will be your testing associate for this testing track. Glad to meet you. Test subject name here. Guess you forgot to fill that out.
Unlike the
Don't
portal
worry,
gun, it
I'll
can't
get that
actually
checked.
be fired everywhere. You see these little fizzler-like things? Run through a
In case you
green
haven't
fizzler,
noticed
it
yet, that
activates
green
one of
field, the
your
aperture
gels.
sized paint gun
Right now
activation
with
field,
BL
also
blue gel.
known as fizzler,
And if you
will
run
activate
through a
and deactivate
purple
your paint
fizzler,
gun.
it'll deactivate the corresponding gel. Some of these jumps here can sometimes not work, just because of how physics work in this game. Simple wall jumps, also known from Portal 2. This wall jump here can be a bit icky sometimes because you keep getting stuck in weird geometry. This time it didn't happen though. It does tend to fail sometimes though. Mostly because you bump, as I said, into weird geometry like that. And it just refuses to put you up on top of it. Which in case that happens, just keep on trying. It's really frustrating early part of the game, but it can't be helped right now. For this part, you don't actually want to go off the wall behind you. You actually want to jump like this. As if you jump from the wall behind you, you'll actually be too fast.
But cleaning that stuff up is horribly expensive. So just please only spray where you think is necessary. Our Aperture Science sentient washing servos will thank you. Now this is the Advanced Jumping Training Course. It will teach you, ideally, how to navigate through future test chambers.
Just as the intro says, this is pretty much just all about jumping around. Using your gel to traverse all the environments. Personally, I like to spray while I go, because it's faster. Also, you can never have too much gel, so just spraying all the time is not actually a bad thing.
Nicely done. I love that final jump. Looks really fun. Sometimes I wish I had legs so I could do what you do, but then I remembered the other things we do to test subjects. I probably shouldn't have said that. Don't worry, I'm sure you'll be fine.
Look at this! I just looked at the documentation for these big monitors. Let me show you myself. Sweet, isn't it? Now you can look at me. So it's not as creepy knowing you're being watched, 'cause you can watch me too. How cool is that? Oh, the door. Let me get that for you. And the song. Good luck.
This chamber right here revolves around this cube. Basically you want to pick it up and then make sure you can take it all the way to the end of the test chamber. The chamber's a lot easier if you go on the platform first and then start spraying them. Then you won't have to hold shift all the time to stop bouncing. Also note that while you're in one of these tractor beams, you can't actually shoot any gel, because it will instantly be caught in the tractor beam. And it looks something like this. Shooting blue gel onto cubes is a technique you'll often be used to basically get a cube to respawn, which can be used to take them off buttons that need to be depressed, or spawn them in other locations where buttons will be pressed.
Now this is where the fun begins. A real puzzle. You will have to use all the skills you've learned in the previous chambers. Let me put some ambient music on to get us in a good puzzle-solving mood. Good luck.
First off, just take these turrets out, nothing special. Simple wall jump here. If If you land somewhere and you don't want to fall off, keep crouching because it will slow you down. Next I want to use this tractor beam. The respawn for the cube is conveniently placed directly above it. So we just wait for this cube to fall down and die. And then we'll get another one. And the actual cube that we need is over here. Sometimes stuff like this happens where it bounces off. Because it thinks the ground below it has blue stuff on it, but it's actually on another layer. Can be a bit odd sometimes. Spraying while having a cube around, but it's not a big problem.
Nicely done. You may now exit the room. Chop chop. You should be able to reach the exit rather quickly.
There's also a secret area on top of this entire building that you can reach by, well, the easiest way is to get on into the tractor beam, and at the top of the tractor beam just fall down and bounce on top of the roof. This is also one of the areas in Portal 2 over there, in one of the old Aperture Science areas. And this is one of the longest rides you'll get. There's another ride after this coming up which is also very long. Contrary to popular belief, this ride actually has an end.
So, it turns out that the vacuum tube I gave you for the previous test does not connect to the next test chamber. So, we are going to have to walk for a little bit. This test chamber was for another test.
And now we're gonna be
which
solving
was
some old
It was supposed to be
puzzles
solved in
from
the
Portal.
gun. Wicked stuff. I'm sure there's a way we could solve it in our way.
Which are now solvable using a different way, using gels. Or well, right now one gel. The other stage is a bit different, because you want to go up there. However, there's a fizzler between us and this area, so we have to spray it from down here. And also over there. And then walk through the fizzler and use the gel that we just sprayed to get to the end.
There it is. Just jump in it and we'll be on our way.
It actually is possible to get stuck in these cubes on one of the corners. That can happen on multiple of these tubes. If that ever happens, just wiggle around a bit, maybe jump, and you should be able to unstuck yourself very quickly. There's also another very long tube ride, which fortunately also has an end at some point.
Now, this test does make use of portals as a testing element. If you've never bumped into them before, they're pretty straightforward. Thingy goes in, thingy goes out.
This is one of the layer stages of the first chapter. And it has a multitude of ways to solve it. And the one that I'm gonna be using requires shooting gel at the cube from a distance while you're trying to time something. So what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be going over to the other platform, and I'm gonna try and get a lot of height and jump back into the blue portal. Now while I'm doing this, I'm trying to shoot the cube off the button in the distance. And if I time it right, I should make it through the portal, and by the time I come back up, it should change. Now if you miss it, it's not a problem, you can just instantly retry.
See? Portals are a piece of cake. Nothing out of this world. It's time to increase the complexity just by one variable.
That was it for the first chapter. I'm gonna be posting a second chapter in the second part. See you next time.